The gavel fell like a gunshot, and this time no one laughed. Judge Elena Ruiz didn't smile. She didn't smirk. She didn't look amused by cafe aprons or frozen accounts. She looked tired of nonsense. Challenge denied, she repeated, her voice steady and sharp. The will stands. Costs and fees to the plaintiffs. My parents didn't look polished anymore. They looked small. Outside the courthouse, cameras waited. Word had spread: wealth, family war. A judge recused over a joke. It had all become public theater. Derek tried to reach for my arm like we were about to pose for a family photo. I stepped back. Arthur saved me once, I said quietly. I'm done saving you. Mom opened her mouth, maybe to cry, maybe to argue. I didn't stay to find out. That night, I drove to Grandpa Arthur's house in Connecticut. The porch light still worked. I'd paid the electric bill myself while probate dragged on, even when my accounts were frozen. Habit, loyalty, love. Inside, the house smelled like cedar and old books. His chessboard still sat near the window. White bishop slightly chipped. He used to say it was his favorite piece. Moves quiet, cuts diagonal. I sat in his chair and opened the final envelope he'd left for me. Use wealth like a tool. That was it. No speech, no instructions. Just that line, written in his careful block letters. Arthur never believed money was magic. He believed it was leverage, a hammer, a ladder, something you used to build or to break. So I built. First, I paid June back every dollar I'd borrowed and triple what she refused to accept. Then I invested in her calf, quietly. New espresso machine, updated kitchen, health insurance for the staff. She cried when she found out. I told her not to. It's not charity, I said. It's infrastructure. Then I funded Renee's clinic idea, legal aid for people stuck in probate hell, especially young heirs frozen out by family manipulation. We called it the Arthur Grant Initiative. No marble plaques, just competent lawyers and long hours. The first week, 3 cases walked in that looked exactly like mine. By the end of the year, we'd won all 3. My parents stopped calling after their appeal collapsed. Legal fees swallowed most of what they'd inherited in that 5%. Irony has sharp teeth. Derek sent one final email. You didn't have to humiliate us. I typed a reply, deleted it, typed again. You tried to erase me. Then I closed the laptop. A year later, I stood in a courtroom again. Not at the defendant's table, at the counsel table. Bar license framed. In my office now. My own firm, small, sharp, selective. I took cases that smelled like power imbalance. Judges who forgot themselves. Parents who thought children were extensions instead of people. Across the aisle stood Mr. Klein. He avoided my eyes. The new judge asked for argument. I stood, shoulders steady. Arthur's voice somewhere in the back of my mind. Learn the rules, then learn how people break them. I spoke for 27 minutes without notes. We won. Afterward, in the hallway, a young woman with shaking hands stopped me. They said I was irresponsible, she whispered, that I wasn't mature enough to handle my own inheritance. I handed her a card. Do your shoes fit? I asked her. She blinked, confused. It's just a question my grandfather used to ask, I said. Start there. I still visit Arthur's house sometimes. I kept it, not as a monument, as a reminder. The key he gave me when I was 7 still hangs on a ribbon in my closet. I don't wear it anymore. I don't need proof I belong somewhere. The laughter in that first courtroom used to echo in my head at night. Now it sounds distant, like something that happened to a different girl. They tried to make me the punchline. Instead, I became the precedent. They tried to make me the punchline. Instead, I became the precedent. But precedents don't just happen. They're built case by case, brick by brick, in rooms that still smell like varnish and old power. 3 months after the ruling, Renee walked into my office with a thin file and a look I recognized. Not anger, not excitement. Purpose. You need to see this, she said. Inside was a petition filed by a young man named Caleb Morris. 22, only child. His parents had died in a boating accident. His uncle was contesting the will, claiming Caleb's emotional instability made him unfit to manage the estate. Attached to the filing were photos. Caleb stocking shelves at a grocery store. Caleb sitting on a curb with takeout. Caleb looking tired. Evidence, apparently, that he couldn't handle money. I stared at the pages for a long moment. They're using humility as proof of incompetence, I said quietly. Renee nodded. Sound familiar? Very. In court, the uncle's attorney tried the same trick. Lifestyle. Optics. The illusion of irresponsibility. But this time, I was ready before the first exhibit touched a table. I stood. Your Honor, I said evenly, earning an honest wage is not a disqualifier for inheritance. It's evidence of character. The estate was frozen during probate. My client worked because he refuses to borrow from someone suing him. The judge leaned forward. And if the court needs precedent, I continued, sliding a copy across, there's a recent ruling establishing that employment during probate does not constitute mismanagement. I didn't need to say my name was on that ruling. The judge saw it. Challenge denied. Again. Outside, Caleb cried in the hallway. Not loud, just relief leaking out of him in quiet breaths. Why did you take my case? He asked. Because once someone gave me a key on a ribbon. Because you deserve someone to ask the right questions, I told him. Success spread slowly. Then all at once, we weren't flashy. No billboards, no TV ads, just outcomes. Within 2 years, the Arthur Grant Initiative expanded into 3 states. Law students applied for fellowships just to sit in our intake room and listen. I made one rule clear. We don't rescue people. We equip them. We ask if their shoes fit. We ask if they want their own room. We teach them how to hold eye contact when someone lies. My parents' names stopped appearing in legal filings. The bitterness must have run out or become too expensive to maintain. Then, one winter afternoon, I received a letter in my office mailbox. Not an email. Paper. Derek's handwriting. I didn't open it right away. I let it sit on my desk beside Arthur's envelope. 2 generations of men who handled power differently. When I finally unfolded it, the message was shorter than I expected. We were wrong. And no justification. No excuses. No request for money. Just that. It didn't undo the courtroom laughter. It didn't erase the frozen accounts or the calf photos held up like scandal. But it shifted something small inside me. Closure isn't loud. It's a hinge turning. I didn't write back. I didn't need to. On the 5th anniversary of Arthur's death, we opened something new. Not a clinic. A training center. A space for young attorneys from families like mine, children who had been convenient, overlooked, underestimated. We taught probate law, ethics, courtroom strategy, and something else. Composure. The first class sat in folding chairs. Nervous, hungry. I told them the story, not the wealth, not the victory headlines. I told them about the gavel and the laughter. People will underestimate you, I said. Sometimes publicly, sometimes cruelly. Your job is not to shrink. Your job is to document, prepare, and respond with precision. One student raised her hand. Did it ever stop hurting? She asked. I considered the question carefully. It stopped defining me, I said. That was enough. Sometimes I still think about that first morning in court. My hands shaking. My parents smiling behind me like the outcome was already decided. They thought the story ended there. They didn't understand something Arthur did. Silence isn't weakness. Preparation is quiet. The gavel can fall like a gunshot, but it can also fall like a door closing on someone else's version of you, and once that door closes, you get to decide what opens next.